How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. So over on the total, RSI is pretty flat, is slightly coming down as our stochastic starts to sell off. This stochastic's the double line, RSI is the red line. Money flow is coming down, VWAP wants to break into the bearish territory. Momentum is in jeopardy of rolling over as well, so if our VWAP breaks into the bearish territory, this yellow wave, our blue wave, will break with it, and then the green wave, our money flow, will start to come down, signaling further sell-off. Over on Bitcoin, remember we are using Market Cipher B and Market Cipher A, so these two indicators here, they are both free. Go to Market Cipher A, hit the gear, change your EMA colors to as following with 70% opacity, and then change your inputs as following, and then it'll be the same as mine. If we are able to get a strong green candle here, we could still have a double bottom. Did not mean to do that. We could still have a double bottom to try to push Bitcoin dominance up. However, if we are not able to sustain some bullish momentum, meaning we see price action go forward, we are likely going to continue bearish and see price action drop down. Stochastic is falling, RSI is coming down, momentum's pushing into the bearish territory with the VWAP, and the money flow is coming down as a result. If the VWAP and momentum continue to favor bearish territory, we will see the money flow continue down and price action will continue down as well, or dominance percentage in this case, and we are likely going to slip down probably to around this 50% zone. If we're not able to hold that 50% zone, then our next area would be around 49%. And then we could see a pretty decent snap to around 47. We do have a point control around that 49, so that would be a strong area to want to see a bounce forward from if we're going to remain in this zone. Over on Bitcoin futures, we are seeing a push forward overall, but we are rounding away, rejecting off the value area high for the second time now. We are trying to break this point of control, so if we confirm breaking this point of control, we will have rejected these higher areas again, and we will see a rollover. Stochastic is pushing down, momentum's pushing down, we have a red dot on momentum, RSI is curling away, VWAP's breaking into the bearish territory, and the money flow is close to breaking bearish as well. If this momentum continues to push down with the VWAP, then our money flow is going to break bearishly, and we will see futures drop down, potentially filling that 40k gap, which would result in Bitcoin falling down as well. Over on Bitcoin, we are struggling to get any price movement. We have some indecision, can hardly see that candle. So we did get a bit of that double bottom. We'll have to go on the lower time frames, but Stochastic is pushing down. RSI is coming down. VWAP's in the bearish territory. Money flow is starting to lose some strength, so I would keep a close eye here. Over on the 4 hour, we could make a bear flag, so I would watch out, as a bear flag is a pattern that brings you down. You could include that candle if you want. If you don't, you could... grabbed the wrong line there. Now we're all messed up. Retry this. So we'll draw from here because this is a stronger area as we have more candles to touch on. I'll bring that back. So that would be more of a solid channel. You go from your your breakdown to the bottom of your channel. Then you apply that to the bottom of the channel. And that will give us that break of 40k. So I would watch for that. Remember, you want to be prepared for both sides, no matter which way price action goes. RSI is coming down. Stochastic wants to round away. The Stochastic is about to break bearish, just under that 30. If it does break bearish here, we will see the RSI start to curl away, as 30 is the neutral zone, and we are likely going to reject. VWAP is going pretty flat here, is in jeopardy of rolling away, money flow is coming down, momentum does want to push forward, but it's struggling. If that VWAP rolls away, we're likely going to see this momentum stay oversold, and we will see money flow continue down. Over on the 2 hour, you can see we attempted to make that double bottom. We came up to this area right here, which would have been our neckline, and we got rejected. So we will delete that. That did create the potential for this flag. Stochastic is starting to round. RSI is going flat, but if the Stochastic continues to push down here, RSI is going to push down as well. Our VWAP is slightly losing strength, just inching its way out of the bullish territory. So if we see some lower lows or consistent lows and then come up for lower highs, we could create a new bearish trend, which would give this flag strength and we would see it break down. Momentum does want to round away with a red dot, as that VWAP is trying to push into the bearish territory, and the money flow has a strong bearish trend currently. So if this continues, then this 4 hour is going to continue to push away from the neutral to the bearish territory. Over on the 1 hour, we could make a symmetrical triangle at the tip here, as we are trying to kind of consolidate and go sideways. We're kind of losing the steam to the highs, so if we continue to make this move, this is a 50-50 pattern. The move to the downside would start our breakdown. I've lost that line now that we drew it. There we go. A break up would push us to the top of the pattern. So nothing too exciting here. I just hit Control C and Control V if you're wondering how I just created that second line out of nowhere. That was exactly the same. Stochastic is coming down. It does want to round up. We could get some bullish strength, but remember, it is pretty overbought currently. RSI does want to head forward, but it's starting to struggle with that stochastic starting to struggle. VWAP is trying to break through that neutral, but we're starting to round here. If we continue to round, we are going to confirm more bearish momentum. We would confirm a bearish trend with lower lows and lower highs, and then that would put us at jeopardy of breaking to the downside. Over on graph for the daily, we are seeing a bit of a rollover here, so we are in jeopardy of coming down to that 16,316 like we've been warning. RSI is coming down, stochastic wants to push away, it is starting to get bearish divergence. Our money flow is starting to come down. VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory. Momentum is starting to round away with a red dot because of that VWAP breaking bearishly. If the VWAP starts to favor bearish territory and we get those lower lows with lower highs, then we will see the daily start to break down from here. Over on the 4 hour, we do have a bit of a consolidation and then a bit of a break. So we could be starting a breakdown of a bear flag if we are not careful here. That breakdown of the bear flag would put us just below that 16,316, right at that 15,312 possibly. So that would be filling the bottom end of this range back here. RSI is coming down, stochastic's pushing away. VWAP does want to round under the neutral, so it could pick up some more bearish strength, confirming a bearish trend. Money flow is picking up a bearish trend as well, and the momentum is starting to push down. So if the VWAP continues to break down here, we're likely going to see this push to the downside. There could be a retest forward and then a rejection. A retest would be where we start to see some green candles come up to the bottom of this pattern, get rejected, meaning we hit the pattern, that's the retest. The rejection would be we hit the pattern, then the next candle's red, and we fall away from the pattern. That would be a rejection. We will have more on that in our coming videos. We are going to start recording those tomorrow. RSI is coming down, stochastic's pushing down, money flow's coming out, VWAP's in the bearish territory, and the momentum does want to roll away here with that red dot. So I would exercise some caution, as that is creating some of that bearish pressure for us to start to push away from this pattern here. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic does want to round up. RSI is overall starting to arch its way out, so I would exercise caution if the stochastic continues down. VWAP is in the bearish territory. It wants to come up toward the neutral, but it's starting to round. If it continues to round and rejects away from that neutral, we will see money flow pick up further bearish momentum, with our momentum and VWAP pushing lower. Over on Ankr for the daily, we are somewhat consolidated, so I would exercise some caution here. Stochastic does want to round away. RSI is starting to come down. VWAP wants to break into the bearish territory. Money flow is in jeopardy of breaking as well, and the momentum is indecisive at best. If we see the VWAP break bearishly on the lower time frames, this daily is likely going to roll over and break into a bearish trend. However, if the lower time frames can become bullish, then we will see this daily possibly create a double bottom and push us forward to possibly the top of this range over here. Over on the 4 hour, we do have a bit of consolidation, so we could try to make a bear. Actually, I wouldn't make a bearish channel. We might be able to make some sort of other pattern. Not really. Can't really draw too clean of a pattern. We could try to draw a rising channel from here. That rising channel would be a bearish pattern that could break us down, so I would exercise caution on that possibility. But that's not even too clean of a pattern unless you consider this drop here solid, which it's not right now. So I wouldn't even consider that a solid pattern at this point. RSI is rolling away. Stochastic wants to come down. VWAP's pushing down. Money flow's coming out. Momentum's in the bearish territory, starting to round away. So if the VWAP breaks the bearish territory, money flow is going to break down, reject that bullish cross, get lower highs, and possibly make lower lows, creating a new bearish trend to push the daily lower. Over on the 2 hour, our stochastic is starting to push off, so watch out for that. RSI is starting to come down as a result. VWAP wants to break into the bearish territory, and the momentum does have a red dot as it's trying to round away with that VWAP breaking. If the VWAP and momentum make a break here, we're likely going to see that money flow come down. We did come up and fill that gap, much like we told you. We did continue bullish momentum with that VWAP sustaining bullishly. So if you took that and watched, you could have rode this up. You could have sold your initial investment here, took your profits, or at least took initial, rode your profits up, sold somewhere around here once you noticed the VWAP was getting pretty maxed out. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a manipulation X here, so this manipulation X does want to push us down. Stochastic is pushing down. RSI wants to round away. Our momentum is starting to round with a red dot, so that wants to bring us lower. Money flow's overall pushing out. Our VWAP is breaking into that bearish territory. It does want to push forward, so if the VWAP can continue up from here, we may create some bullish momentum with the money flow still being bullish. However, if the VWAP continues to favor bearish territory from here and rolls over for a lower high, we will confirm a new bearish trend that can bring the money flow out. Over on XRP for the daily, not the 4 hour, we are struggling to break that resistance area. We haven't really gone too far. Much of the market is pretty flat. Stochastic is starting to push down. RSI is pretty flat, so if the stochastic continues to push down here, we will see the RSI start to push down as well. VWAP is starting to break into that bearish territory. If it rolls away, we will have a low. We could make a lower high, and then we would want a lower low that would create a new bearish trend that could push us down to that other support around that 54 cents. And then possibly to that 48-cent zone if we are not careful. Momentum does want to round away. We do have a red dot, so that red dot could signal that we are going to see a sell-off. Remember, if we cannot hold this 48-cent zone, we do have that support right around 38 cents, and then we do have some lower supports. Over on the 4 hour here, we do have a manipulation X, but the manipulation X isn't really doing much, as price action is pretty flat. Here we're just above that support level. If we can continue to push up and confirm it as support, that would give us that potential to hit that 60-cent zone. However, if we roll over, this could become a head and shoulders, where this is a shoulder, a head, and then this comes up to be a real weak shoulder. And then we could see a breakdown. We would draw from the head to our neckline. Then you apply that from your neckline down. And that would put us just below that other support level. RSI is pretty flat. Stochastic does want to head forward. So if the stochastic can break the 30, it will gain bullish momentum. However, if it rejects that 30, RSI is going to come down with it. Our VWAP is struggling to break into bullish territory here. So if our VWAP rolls away, we would start a new bearish trend here as well. Money flow is in jeopardy of pulling back after breaking into the bearish territory, as that VWAP does want to pull back, so I would watch this VWAP closely. If the VWAP cannot create a new bullish trend, then our money flow will continue down and people will continue to sell off, resulting in lower price action. Over on the 2 hour, stochastic is starting to roll away. We do have a bearish cross. We are starting to split off, so I would keep a close eye on that, as that could start to make the RSI start to weaken, as it's been flat for some time. VWAP does want to break into the bearish territory. Momentum is rolling away with a red dot, and our money flow does want to break bearishly. It is very weak in the bullish territory, just above that neutral. So if that VWAP makes a bearish break and pushes lower, our momentum will push lower, and money flow wouldn't be too far behind breaking as well. However, if we can sustain here, money flow is bullish. We are above this support, so we could continue forward again to that 60-cent area, but I would just exercise caution if that's what you're hoping for. Stochastic does want to push forward. RSI wants to head up. Momentum does want to round away. VWAP is trying to break into bullish territory. We do have a green dot on that momentum as a result, and the money flow is trying to sustain just above that neutral. If we can continue bullish momentum here, we will see price action move forward. However, if we start getting bearish strength and price action breaks this support, we're likely going to finish off that shoulder, and we could see lower price action as a result. Over on ALGO for the daily, last but not least, again, if you want any other coins, drop that in the comments. RSI is heading flat. Stochastic is starting to round away. We do have a bearish cross with the orange above blue, so if this continues, our RSI is going to continue down. The stochastic did break that 30, so it got just above into bullish territory, then rejected back into bearish territory. VWAP is breaking into bearish territory as well. Our momentum does want to round with the red dot, and the money flow is starting to come down. If the VWAP rolls away, gets a lower high, and then creates a lower low, we would have a new bearish trend that could confirm this head and shoulders and break us down. Over on the 4 hour, we do have a manipulation X that brought us lower. We did try to break out of this channel, but we are holding. If we are not able to break out of the channel in the next couple of candles, there is possibility of us pushing to the top. That would be the third touch to the top. And then if we reject there, we are likely going to break, and that would invalidate that head and shoulders pattern, but it would still give us potential to push lower. That push might just get us right to this 18-cent area though, if that were to happen. RSI is going pretty flat. Stochastic does want to round off. VWAP does want to round away. Money flow is pushing into that bearish territory, so if the VWAP continues to push lower, momentum is going to round away, and this money flow will pick up more bearish strength and push away from that neutral, bringing price action down. Over on the 2 hour, we are struggling to maintain this pattern, so I would watch. We are starting to round away. If this VWAP starts to pick up some strength to the bearish side, it's very likely we're going to make a break here. Stochastic is starting to push down. RSI wants to push down too. Money flow is coming out, and the momentum does want to break bullishly, but with the VWAP starting to break bearish, it is starting to go flat. If that VWAP breaks bearish, gets lower lows with lower highs, we're likely going to push out of this channel and push down. However, if our next couple candles are green, we may invalidate that and get that move up that I just mentioned a little while ago. Over on the 1 hour, we do have a double manipulation X. This double manipulation X does want to bring us lower. We are technically just below this pattern. If you look here, we are trying to break into it, so if we cannot confirm into this pattern and we see a rejection next, then we may have some bearish momentum to come. Stochastic does want to head forward. Momentum's trying to push up. VWAP does want to head forward, but is starting to flatten. If the VWAP continues to flatten and rolls away, momentum's going to come down, and the little bit of bullish momentum the money flow is starting to get will be short-lived, and the money flow and momentum will start to come down. If that does happen, we will see lower price action. However, if this VWAP can break this neutral and gain a new bullish trend, we will see price action gain some strength. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.